Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're tackling a massive hardware headache that basically every Epson printer owner has bumped into at least once. Yep, we're talking about the dreaded, seemingly out-of-nowhere blinking light error. We are going to completely demystify what causes this sudden lockdown, and then we'll walk through a structured, step-by-step software fix based on our source material. My goal today is to give you a crystal clear understanding of what's going on under the hood and the tools you can use to fix it. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll diagnose those blinking lights, introduce the software cure, get your computer prepped, actually execute the reset, and then finally, we'll impartially weigh the risks involved. All right, part 1, the blinking light problem, symptoms and hidden causes. Let's just dive right into this frustrating mess, which, always seems to happen right when you have a critical deadline. Picture this. You're trying to push out an urgent document, and suddenly your super reliable Epson machine just gives up. The power is on, the paper is loaded, your connection is totally solid. So why in the world does a perfectly good printer suddenly lock up like this? Well, the visual cue the machine gives you is undeniable, right? It's chaos. You get these alternating, blinking lights flashing on the hardware itself, and an absolute, total refusal to print a single page. It honestly feels like the printer has just completely bricked itself. But actually, scratch that. It really hasn't. The hidden villain here isn't a jammed gear or a blown motor. It's actually a piece of software logic. It's called the internal waste ink counter. This is literally a planned, built-in mechanism that tracks your ink usage. It triggers that blinking error when it thinks the physical ink absorber pad inside is full. Basically, it's the printer trying to stop itself from physically overflowing with waste ink, but the result is a total system lockdown. Okay, moving on to part 2. Meet the adjustment program, the software cure. Since we know a digital counter is causing the lockdown, let's look at the tool built to bypass it. According to the source documentation, the magic bullet here is the Epson adjustment program. This is a dedicated software fix built specifically to wipe that full ink absorber memory clean. By talking straight to the printer's internal brain, this program resets that waste ink counter all the way back to 0, which brings your printer back to life. And you know what's really fascinating? This program is definitely not a one-trick pony. Beyond just clearing out those annoying alternating lights, it packs a whole suite of troubleshooting features. We're talking fixing ink flow issues, correcting distorted colors, and it can even run a heavy-duty power cleaning on the print heads. It's honestly a super comprehensive diagnostic tool. Which brings us to part 3, preparing your computer. Quirky prerequisites. Before we just fire up the tool, we gotta prep your digital workspace, because third-party software like this usually requires getting past a few unique security hurdles. You have to be pretty meticulous here. First up, you actually need to turn off your real-time antivirus. If you don't, it's gonna falsely flag and block the resetter. Second, the tutorial advises using Microsoft Edge for the download to prevent browsers like Chrome from auto-blocking the file. And step 3, once it's downloaded, you have to extract it using WinRAR with a very specific secret password. It's just the letters SBZ. All right, part 4, executing the reset, a step-by-step tutorial. This is the absolutely crucial part. You've got to follow these exact steps carefully so you don't accidentally misconfigure your printer. So here's how the fix actually goes down. First, open the program. It's usually called AdjustProg, using another password. This one is iloda.zone.com. Next, pick your exact Epson model from the list, like the L3210, for example, and set the port to auto. Finally, click on the specific adjustment mode and head straight for the waste ink pad count option. Now, here's a super interesting detail from the sources. When you first check that counter in the software, it might show the system sitting at around 75% capacity. And even at 75%, the machine is basically throwing out a massive final warning that a lockdown is right around the corner. But if that internal counter hits exactly 100%, boom. That's when the symptom we talked about kicks in. Complete lockdown. It will absolutely refuse to print until this digital initialization is totally finished. Once you're staring at the interface, the fix itself is incredibly simple. Just check the required boxes in the menu and hit the Initialize button. The program tells the printer to wipe those internal values back to 0. After it does its thing, you literally just walk over, turn the printer off, turn it back on, and that's the whole shebang. Your printer should be functioning normally again. But let's move to part 5, weighing the risks, the catch. Because while this brilliantly illustrates an immediate solution to a huge headache, as an impartial explainer, we have to look at the catch. With free third-party software, there is almost always a catch. Let's weigh this out. On one hand, running this free tool saves you some serious cash. No buying a new printer, no expensive repair bills. It's fast, it's convenient, and it revives the hardware sitting right on your desk. But, on the flip side, using this officially voids your printer warranty. Plus, there is a very real significant risk of causing permanent hardware damage if you misuse the software. And the source documentation doesn't sugarcoat this at all. It explicitly recommends that if you're even a little unsure about using third-party software to bypass internal printer mechanisms, you really should just consult a professional technician instead of winging it on your own. So that leaves us with a pretty big question to ponder. When those alternating blinking lights of doom strike right before a deadline, is saving a quick buck with a clever DIY reset actually worth risking your warranty and potentially frying your machine? I guess that's a calculation you'll have to make for yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.